Well, this month marks the 40th anniversary of one of the most notorious unsolved cases in the U.S. They're known as the Tylenol murders.
September 1982, 7 people in the Chicago area died from cyanide-laced Tylenol pills. It triggered panic in the city as investigators tried to piece together what was happening. People were dying and how the Tylenol got tampered with in the first place. And Chicago Tribune reporters Stacey St. Clair and Christy Gutkowski have been looking into this unsolved crime for the last year. And today they launched an in-depth investigative series in the Tribune as well as a new podcast. They're here now. Grateful to have you come in to tell us. When you first jumped into this, I think those of us who are here will never forget what this was like. You jumped into it on the anniversary thinking you're going to dust the cobwebs off and found out this is not a cold case. What's brand new in this?
One of the first phone calls we made, and just backing up, Stacey and I got our start in the suburbs. We're Chicagoans, so I was 13 years old when this happened. I remember Halloween being different, and we got our start as rookie reporters growing up in the suburbs and reporting and knowing some of these investigators at the twilight of their career. And the fact that they never solved it always bothered them. So for the anniversary, we just had finished the Rittenhouse trial, and we thought, well, let's look at this cold case. It'll be interesting. And the second phone call we made was to a retired detective who said, oh, my son is an FBI agent, and he's working on the case now. We realized it wasn't a cold case.
Yeah, so that's how you came across it. I want to talk to you about what's been going on today because you've got a podcast that just dropped. You've got a 2-part piece that is running today as well. What is sort of the next step in this? What's the breaking news today in this case?
So the breaking news in the case is that authorities were in Boston this week, and they interviewed James Lewis, who is considered by local law enforcement to be the prime suspect in the case. And we also know that law enforcement has taken a case to local prosecutors, both in Cook and DuPage, because that's where these murders took place, and have told the prosecutors that they think they have a chargeable circumstantial case. And now it's in their hands.
We remember the name, James Lewis. He was actually convicted of extorting Johnson & Johnson, saying that I am the Tylenol murderer. If you want them to stop, pay me. But he has never been brought to justice for the actual killings themselves, never charged with it, right?
Correct. He spent about 13 years in federal prison for attempted extortion, was released in 1995, and has been living in the Cambridge area with his wife. He was charged with a rape in 2004, but the charges were dismissed, and he's been on the eve of trial because the accuser did not want to testify, could not testify. So as you guys know, without an accuser, you can't move forward with the case. So he has really kept a low profile since then. He's always maintained his innocence in the murder, but he was convicted of attempted extortion and spent 13 years in federal prison for that.
Okay, so in the meantime, it's been 40 years. We're marking 40-year anniversary. I would imagine there's a lot of new technology in place today that wasn't there back then. Have you been able to sort of piece together how that's helping move this case along?
Yeah, one of the things that we have learned is we obtained some sealed affidavits that showed that there are at least 3 bottles that they found DNA on, 3 of the poisoned bottles, and that they've spent a good part of the last decade or so going back to people who touched the bottle in 1982 to try to match their DNA, and they have matched a lot of the DNA from people who were just handling it as part of the investigation. Because as we look back through photos and talk to people, people weren't wearing gloves back then because DNA wasn't really a thought in their mind, and they didn't have the same standards as they do today. We also know that the DNA does not match Jim Lewis, and we know that there was another suspect in the case, Roger Arnold. We know that his body was exhumed in 2010.
So a lot of moving pieces.
A lot of moving pieces, and his DNA did not match. So they have not matched the DNA to either of their top suspects.
You said that he's in Massachusetts now.
Correct.
Have you talked to him?
We worked pretty hard to try to get him to talk because he used to talk all the time, and we wanted to tell him about our project. And you can't plumb someone's heart by just sitting across and talking to them and tell if they're, could be guilty of something like this. But we really wanted to just sit down and talk to him. So we went out there twice. The Chicago Tribune went out there twice and waited. He hadn't responded to us, so we basically just hung out for, I think it was 36 hours the first time outside of his building, came back without finding him, and then we went back in August, and I found him walking down the street in Cambridge, on Cambridge Street, and tried to talk to him a little bit.
So interesting. You know, I always ask people whenever they work on these big investigative pieces, just the toughest part or the biggest revelation while they've been working on these cases, because you're spending hours, days, weeks working on things like this. Talk about what that has been like for the two of you.
I think for both of us, the toughest part was talking to the families who still don't have answers, the people who loved the 7 victims and just want some conclusion. We talked to Joe Janis, whose 2 brothers and sister-in-law died after taking these poisoned pills, and he told us that his parents went to their graves wanting to know what happened to their sons.
Yeah.
And he's 71 now, and he doesn't want to go to his grave wondering who killed his brothers. So I think for us, that was the hardest and the most emotional.
Yeah, they described how the parents would sit at the graves of their 2 sons with their folding chairs and their newspapers and their lunch, and that to their dying day, hanging out the cemetery with their 2 sons. They never got over it, obviously.
So tough.
Wow. Well, we're really grateful that you came in to tell us about it. You can read about it in the Tribune. You can listen to it on the podcast Unsealed, The Tylenol Murders. It's an 8-part series, new episode every Thursday through the end of October. So you've got some time here. You can find it streaming on the apps listed there. Thank you.
Listening, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.